All right. Oh, great. Hey, guys. How are you? Happy Dreamforce. Welcome. It's Friday. Aloha. And thank you for being a part of our Ohana. Today, I'm going to go ahead and get us started. We're going to be speaking about Google Sheets and Salesforce and how those integrations that we have are going to enhance your team's productivity. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and get started. If you're Salesforce customers, you'll know and love the following slide. This is our safe harbor slide. Please be aware that we're going to be showing some things that are not necessarily commercially available. So please make any purchasing decisions based on what is currently available on market. And we'll highlight what those are in the presentation. All right, great. So with that, I'm Sam Kligman. I'm from Salesforce. With me today, I have Dan Gundrum and Eric Segev. Dan is from Google, and Eric is from Salesforce as well. So today, our agenda is very packed, so please pay attention. We're going to go through it really quickly. If there's questions, we'll spend some time at the end. We'll take those on the side. All right. So how many of you are familiar with the fact that Salesforce and Google signed a strategic partnership? That's awesome. OK, so last year, in November, for those of you who don't know, we signed a strategic partnership across Google and Salesforce. And we've been executing on that partnership and building all sorts of really cool integrations. Some of those include Lightning for Gmail, some of the Lightning Sync, Files Connect, and of course, Google Analytics, GA360 for Marketing Cloud. Can I get a show of hands of how many of you use one or a couple of these integrations? Not as many as I'd like. See if you guys can start using some of these. We've seen huge advancements in productivity from our customers who start to use these integrations. They're super powerful. They bring your data from your productivity tools into Salesforce, which is huge, saving your sales teams an immense amount of time. Today, we're going to be speaking about 3 Google Sheets integrations for Salesforce. Not 1, but 3. And in that time, we're going to be talking about how you guys can use it in your organization to be more effective. We're doing that because we know that everyone who has G Suite needs it to be a little bit closer to Salesforce. We're also doing that because, well, Google Sheets is awesome. And we know that you run your business processes on G Suite. So we know that you can do most things in Salesforce, but G Suite happens to be the place that a lot of our small businesses start in, and then they evolve into some of our other more advanced products in Salesforce. And we want you to be able to still do that in Salesforce. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to really quickly recap why we did this for some of our customers, for those of you who are not familiar with import and export. So G Suite really helps with the exporting process in some of these tools. Right now, the only thing that you can do in order to export your data from Salesforce is create a Lightning report or use data loader, or use some of our third-party integrations, or don't say you haven't done this. Do screen grabs. So copy and paste and put that into some of your documents. It's laborious. It's frustrating. You guys hate doing it. We hate doing it too. So we want to make that go away for you. So we've got 3 integrations that will actually help with that. So you want to know what it is, right? Yeah, we'll show you. OK, so the first of these integrations is actually Salesforce Object Creator. And Salesforce Object Creator is really exciting because it's going to allow you to do some really neat things with custom objects in Salesforce. The next is Google Sheets for Salesforce. And we'll tell you a little bit more about that. And finally, we have the data connector for Salesforce. So we're going to go into each one of these and give an example and a demo of those in just a second. So Salesforce Object Creator, high-level summary for those of you guys who do not know that. It's going into private pilot right now. It's going to allow you to create custom objects in Salesforce in just a few clicks with Google Sheets or just a regular spreadsheet. And the key elements of that are you can connect it directly to your Google Drive. You can easily define objects and fields. And most importantly, you can add it to page layouts in a snap. You don't have to actually do any work to get it into Salesforce and have your own list views. The next thing on our list is actually Google Sheets for Salesforce. This is a really, really new and exciting feature, and that's going into private pilot in November. We'd love to get you guys signed up for that if you're interested. There's an interest form link at the very end of this presentation. This is going to allow you to take your list view data and push that list view data into a Google Sheet with one click. There's a one-click button in list views that you'll be able to see. And of course, you have all of the power of Google Sheets right from within Salesforce. That's huge. Like, we've never had that before in Salesforce. So please check it out. Also, the other thing that I want to mention is that Google Sheets has this really powerful capability called Explore that allows you to do natural language questions and ask Google Sheets about your data. And finally, we have the Salesforce Data Connector. Now, the Salesforce Data Connector is out there in market right now. You can download that from the add-on marketplace for Google. And with that, you can pull data from Salesforce into a Google Sheet, make real-time updates, and push that into Salesforce. You just have to know the object and fields that you're pulling and make sure that you keep the record ID in your mind. So the key elements of that data connector, again, easy to set up, just a few clicks. You can pull data, and then you can push that data back. So go ahead and check that out. We're going to give you guys a good example of that in just a minute. So with that, I'm going to hand this off. Oh, and of course, the reason this is all possible is because our platforms, we've spent the time to expand our platforms. So I really want to spend a moment here to thank both the Google Sheets team and the Lightning Platform team for putting all the hard work and effort into making this possible. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and hand this off to Daniel, and he's going to talk a little bit more about
Thank you so
Google
much.
Sheets.
Thank you, Sam. So yeah, my name's Dan. I'm from Google. I work on the Sheets team. Super excited to be here talking to you about the power of Sheets and what it can do with your Salesforce data. So let's jump right in. So once you're in Sheets, you've brought in all your Salesforce data into Sheets. Now you have collaboration at your fingertips, right? You're able to work on one canonical version of the file inside of Sheets. You don't need to send attachments. You're all working on the same thing. You're just sharing things via a link. And you're all able to edit the data in real time and see each other's changes. So these are some of the benefits that you're going to get when you're working with Salesforce data directly inside of Sheets. You also can have a conversation when you're inside of the spreadsheet. So let's say you have a question about some of the data, or you want to assign a given action item to a particular member of your group. You can do that directly inside of a cell and pull people into the conversation, have this threaded discussion right inside of the spreadsheet without ever leaving Salesforce too. This can be embedded inside of Salesforce. You can keep track of your history with version history inside of Sheets too. You can see all the edits that are happening inside of the spreadsheet. You can see who made each of the edits, and if you ever make a mistake, you can revert back to the other versions. There's no need to make copies of different files, no version 1, version 2, version 3 that you might have to do with other programs. You can name versions directly inside of the file, inside of Sheets, and go back to them and check them out anytime you want. So you can also filter data, of course, filtering data to look at the data you're familiar with. So Sheets users out there, how many are familiar with filter views? Wow, I saw that hand. All right, I actually have a prize for you. So there you go. Wow, there you go. Nice throw, right?
Nice throw.
There you go, you get a hat. So filter views, for those of you who might not be quite familiar, it's Sheets' way to filter collaboratively. Let's say Sam and I, right? Like we're working on the same spreadsheet together.
Yep.
We have our opportunities. You want to look at your opportunities. I want to look at my opportunities. But we want to perform this analysis on the same file. So we're able to do that with filter views. I can look at the things that I'm interested in, modify that. Sam can look at what he's interested in. We can both do this at the same time on the same file with our different views without interrupting each other. I point this out because it's an interesting, unique feature that's not available in some other spreadsheet programs. So you only get this with Sheets. And finally, if you're modifying your spreadsheet with Salesforce data, you can do that anywhere you want. So you're coming to Dreamforce, right? Maybe you're on your phone. You can still analyze and get those insights, do the commenting, and do all the other analysis while you're on the go, on your phones, on your laptop, on your tablets. And Sheets is a web product, but it does work offline as well. So you go on the plane, go back home, go on the train, things like that. You lose internet connection, you can still work on your Salesforce data even without an internet connection right inside of Sheets. All right, so we talked about Sheets at a high level. Let's actually talk through some of these integrations in a little bit more detail. So we're going to take Sarah here. She's an admin and an operations manager. We're going to call it from Honey Badger Incorporated. She's doing a lot of these tasks that you might be familiar with, right? Creating new objects inside of Salesforce, planning, analyzing, charts, graphs, things like that. So with these new integrations, she starts with this spreadsheet. She has a bunch of data already in it. She wants to create a custom object out of this data. So with one of the new integrations, she can hop into the object creator for Salesforce. You're going to see this new Google Spreadsheets option. She clicks that. She drags in the spreadsheet file, and then you see it show up. Right? All of the information from the spreadsheet is in the object creator. You see how it maps. You can look at it, make sure it's verified. And there you go. It saves, you name it, saves, done.
This is huge.
Just like that. Huge?
Huge.
There you go.
We've never seen this.
So what you can do then, if you want to access it, go to the little waffle icon in the corner, go to your list view, and there you go, right? Like all of that data that you just saw in that spreadsheet is now inside of Salesforce as a custom object. Just a few clicks like that made it super seamless. So Sarah's done that. She also now wants to analyze opportunities. So she wants to ask things like how many opportunities per account executive, how many were won, what were the total value. So with our second integration, she goes to the opportunities list view, sees this new action, open in Sheets. She clicks that. Sheets opens directly inside of Salesforce. She's able to modify values, do some analysis, and use all of Google Sheets' powerful functionality. Over 400 spreadsheet functions, dozens of different chart types to create the visualizations she wants, robust pivot tables with drill downs and grouping functionality. She can even, as Sam was mentioning earlier, open up Explore. For those who might not be familiar, Explore is kind of like Sheets' data analyst. It's helping you with things along the side. It's bringing intelligence over your Salesforce data directly in Salesforce inside of Sheets. I actually wanted to show you a quick video of it. So let me actually quickly play this for you. So this is over the opportunities list that we were just showing you. You go to the bottom corner, open up Explore, and you'll see pivot tables automatically suggested to you. Charts instantly that you can drag in and start analyzing and visualizing. If you have a question to ask, you can say things like, how many opportunities are there per account? So you just type that in, and Sheets provides you the answer. No need to know SQL, no need to know formulas, nothing like that. You can get a chart returned to you.
Right? You just ask.
You just ask, right?
Yeah.
Like,
It's amazing.
there you go. There's nothing easier than that, right? Exactly what you wanted. And you can get the power of that right inside of Salesforce without ever having to leave. And then, so you might go home for the day, you're done, you know. Anytime you need to access this again, it's in Files Connect, you can just open it up. So let's say you do that. The next day you come back, you can open up the third integration that we're releasing, which is the Sheets data connector for Salesforce add-on. So what this allows you to do, you can make some changes to the data in the spreadsheet. With the add-on, you're able to then sync it back to Salesforce so that it's back into Salesforce. You can do these bulk edits super seamlessly. As Sam was mentioning, this data connector is available, so you can download it inside of Sheets. Go to the add-ons menu in Sheets, search for data connector for Salesforce, log in, and then you're all set. You can start importing and working with your data there. So with that, Eric is going to talk to you a lot more about that data connector and show you more examples.
Awesome. Thanks, Dan. So as Sam mentioned before, I lead our Quota team. Nice. Anybody here in Quota? I had a lot of hats to give out, but I guess nobody does quotas. And what we're going to take a look at today is a bit of a hands-on example of a simplified use case that my team would use all this new functionality to do. So before we get into it, I'm just going to talk a little bit about the role, a little bit about the process. So to do quotas, really in a simplified way, we first need to identify a data source to get our insights from. We need to then analyze that data, figure out where does the opportunity lay, and then finally, and one of the most challenging pieces is take that data and take the results and submit them over to our compensation team, making sure that no errors are introduced, et cetera. Now, before we get into it, there's two areas of benefits that I see coming out of these features. And I've grouped it under operational excellence and kind of the data access and analysis. So under operational excellence, if you think about it, having that direct access to data makes sure that you're kind of getting rid of some human error that happens when you're copying, taking screenshots, I think people were doing.
Sometimes.
So we're going to, you're missing all those decimal points when you do that. And so we're going to make sure that this way we have direct access to the data. And we're also going to have the centralized files. Dan brought up a great point about version control. I myself have definitely had version 63 of a file and didn't know was it 63 or 62 that's the right one. And this helps us get away from that. Now, on the analysis side, getting our data right from the platform, make sure that the data is reliable and that all teams across the process are analyzing the same data and not using different data sources. And then finally, and this is for kind of some of the Sheets nerds in the room, the data manipulation. Having the data in Sheets makes it so that you don't have to call your IT department and say, hey, I need this extra formula here, here's my requirements, etc. You can do it right in the sheet. And then before we jump into the demo, just to give you a sense of where we are as context. So at this point, when we get to our demo, we've done our financial planning, we have our financial targets for the year, and we're ready to set quotas so that then we can send them off to our comp team. And let's see, let's just play this. All right, so we're going to start off in Salesforce in the platform. Let me just make sure it's running.
Yep.
Yeah. And we're going to look through our opportunities, and we see that we have opportunity amounts, percentages. And then what we're going to want to do is we're going to want to open the data in our sheets. And Sam, I think it's stuck. Here we go.
Go ahead. There we go.
Perfect. OK. So you see that we're looking through our opportunities, and we're going to click at the top right the Open in Sheets button. And that's actually going to open up a sheet in the platform. And I can tell you, for me, that's extremely exciting.
It's huge.
Because we're still in the Salesforce platform, and we're able to do the analysis that we need to do. And so now I've got my data. I'm ready to start analyzing. And first, for me, is weighted opportunity. So I'm going to multiply my probability by the opportunity amount. And the reason I'm doing this is I'm trying to get a sense for where is the opportunity in the org, how should I split up my quotas, et cetera. And so the next step will be our percent of total. So this is where we're going to want to look at each opportunity. What does it represent out of the total? And of course, for all my Sheets nerds here, we're going to lock that range, and we're going to make sure that we're beautifully formatting our numbers. We want to make sure that our Excels, our Sheets always look great. And so now that we've done that, our next step is to talk to our folks in finance. And talking to them, they're going to tell us, look, we need to bring 500K back this year. And of course, we're going to beautifully format that. And in order to bring 500K back, we're going to talk to finance, strategy, et cetera. And we're going to decide, I think we need a little bit of buffer. So we're going to allocate to our street, our AEs, our account executives. We're going to allocate about 650K to them. That gives us that little bit of buffer. Make sure that we're safe in case one of our AEs decides to leave or for whatever reason isn't able to bring their number. Now, and this is, to me, the most powerful part of all this. You see in that quota column, I'm now deciding to put in a formula that takes my percent of total, multiplies it by that street number, and figures out the quota. And just like that, I just did my quota setting in the tool. And so now it's time to get the data back into the object. So we open up the sheet from our drive in a sheet. And what we're going to do now is we're going to use the Google add-on to make sure the data flows right back into the object.
Log right in.
To do that, it's very simple. We're going to use our add-on menu. We're going to authorize. We're going to pick our environment, everything that we need to do to make sure that we're able to run this add-on. And then we've got a few very simple choices to make here. The folks at Google made this very simple, which we love. We're going to click on Update, and you'll see that we'll just be picking where's the ID column, which we've got column A. We're then going to pick the column that we want updated back into the object. So in this instance, I want to get my quotas back into the object. And you'll see once we run it, it'll be very simple. It'll even tell us that the script ran and everything got updated. And so we're updating it right now, and it's also sending it back into the object, which is the amazing part. And you'll see that comes up as update. And when we go back into the platform, so now we're back in the Salesforce platform, when we go to the opportunities, what you're going to see is that data that we just analyzed made it right back into the object. And so now our compensation team is ready to go into the object, pull the data, get those compensation plans out, so we can get our salespeople selling and moving forward.
Has anyone seen it that fast? I've never seen it that fast. Raise a hand, because that's
speed it up at all. I mean, this is real time, just amazing speed that we're
importing data into Salesforce is a laborious task, and look at that.
Oh, absolutely. And I mean, I can tell you for folks that do Quota, for operational folks that are extremely busy, I mean, this is life-changing. This means way less time spent on kind of manual work and more time doing analysis. And so with that, I'll hand it back off to you, Sam.
Great. Thanks, Eric.
So much.
So with that, I'm just going to go ahead and talk about a few other things. Well, first of all, again, thank you guys for being a part of our joint customer base, Salesforce's platform and G Suite. And thank you to the teams who helped make these things possible. We know that our products are better together, so we highly encourage you to use both. As well, if you are not using both of these products or one or both of these products, I imagine you're using Salesforce since you're here, I would recommend you sign up for G Suite. You can actually sign up for a free trial of G Suite, and then you get a free year's subscription to G Suite if you buy something like Essentials, if you're just exploring the market for some of your low-end editions. So if you're not a customer, go ahead and check out our link in this presentation at a later point in time. Also, the data connector is available now. Oh, that got a little cut off. I'm sorry. Take a picture of this slide. I love to encourage all of you guys to take a picture of this slide and tweet us at Google Sheets and Salesforce. If you guys have feedback on these products, if you want other things from the roadmap, if you're not seeing what you wanted out of this presentation, tell us. We want to hear that, and we want to change our roadmap to address the needs that you have. Also, if you want to be a part of the pilot for a couple of those products that you saw in pilot, go ahead and go to the Google shortened link and check out our pilot interest survey. It's a small pilot, but we'd love to have as many of you as we can in it. Just let us know your use case. So with that, we're at time, and I want to thank you guys. And if there's any questions, please go ahead over to the side, and we'll be around. Thanks so much.
Awesome. Thank you.